which we are going to use to set up this next trick called SpongeBob displacement jumping. And I'm not referring to these jumps here. These jumps are still just SpongeBob storage. But as we jump onto this stack of tikis here and do a circular, precise motion around to stay on top of them as we transform, this is the beginning setup to the SpongeBob displacement jump. If you take another look at these tikis, they will expand and contract based on when you're close to them or not. You might also remember this from earlier on Tiki's Go Boom, when we got close to those shush tikis by the Thunder Tiki and they contracted, and when we walked away they expanded, which gave us a bigger combo and which will also give us a bigger combo here, but I digress. Despite that being important, focus right now on the fact that we are storing on these tikis when they're at a lower height and rolling away from them so they expand again, and therefore push the position where we stored, which was on top of the tiki, to a higher height than where it was before. So we store the SpongeBob position on the tikis when they're low and roll away so that position gets pushed higher. This section here between the low point and the high point is effectively how much the SpongeBob has displaced during this action. So when we release the SpongeBob, he will displace at this extreme amount of height in exactly one frame. If you look very closely at this example of me only releasing, you can actually see that. But of course we're going to be doing more than just only releasing. We're going to be using this displacement to do a SpongeBob displacement jump. And this next part is where it's going to get a little bit complicated because we're going to use tech called VMS to store this SpongeBob displacement jump into the other level that we just came from. VMS is short for vertical momentum storage, and as the name implies, we can store vertical momentum through loads as long as we pause the game on any particular frame of displacement, load the next level, and jump on the exact first frame when the character loads in the level. In this specific situation, the displacement that we want only exists for one frame, because releasing the SpongeBob causes that single frame of displacement that we talked about earlier to come out. You know, the one that we created by storing on top of the tikis and moving away. So what we need to do is roll far away from these tikis so they expand and give us the displacement frame. Then once we're far enough away, press the B button and then the start button the exact frame after the B button is pressed. And again, because of console lag in downtown Bikini Bottom, the frame timing on this can be a bit weird. But if done correctly, SpongeBob will release from the SpongeBob and the game will pause before he expends the displacement frame. Now we can scroll over to the Swingin' Sandy task, which we unlocked from entering the rooftops earlier, and time an A press on the exact frame that the level loads in to perform a jump harnessing the SpongeBob displacement, which was transferred from the previous level. And in doing such, we have successfully performed a SpongeBob displacement jump VMS. Now we can interrupt